Jeff, we gave him 2 weeks.
2? Are you sure? I mean, that feels like a lot.
Well, there was a lot going on. First of all, hi, welcome to the Blazor Puzzle. I'm Carl Franklin from AppVNext. That's Jeff Fritz from Microsoft. And we didn't have one last week because number one, you were busy with .NET Conf.
Yep.
And number two, turns out we needed more answers to choose from. So we wanted to give people a little more time to solve puzzle number 56.
Well, we didn't need more answers. It's the answers we were getting. We got a lot of really good answers. None of them were right.
Yeah, there is that. And the thing was that this puzzle was full of sort of misdirection. All right.
Red herrings and skullduggery were abound.
But we're going to tell you the solution right now. So let's get into it.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So we probably don't need to actually show what happens, but it's more of what doesn't happen. The counter does not increment.
No.
And all right. So shall we start with iCounter CS? What is misdirection number 1?
First, we introduced an interface that defined how a counter would work. And we provided 2 implementations of that. And you see them there on lines 9 and 17. The counter that does what you normally expect. And we have null counter that doesn't do anything and fixes the count at 0.
Right.
Now, that means that we can provide 2 different implementations for how the counter is going to work.
So should we start with program CS here? And some people, well, a lot of people focused on this. Hey, you're injecting the null counter here.
That's right. We are.
But that was a red herring, wasn't it?
There's your first little bit of misdirection.
Because do you see any injected counter?
And that was something that folks were saying was, well, you've registered the counter, so that's what's being used. Well, what's on line 13? And there is no inject statement here.
Right.
So that leads to the next bit of indirection where it is being injected inside the import statement.
This was really, really tricky.
So this is a trick that you can use inside your application. You can place an imports razor file at different folders to set up different using statements, but not just different using statements, but also you can inject things that are shared by all the razor files in that folder and below.
Yeah. But it's still a red herring because, again, we're creating a new counter here.
And we're using that my counter.
Yeah.
But here comes the final bit of...
Here's the diabolical part, kids.
That's not the same my counter. And kudos to the folks who sent us the output from their hex editor when they opened the counter razor file and showed us that's not an E in the declaration of my counter.
So are you talking about this right here?
Yeah. And some folks, when they clicked on the words my count, not the ER, when they double clicked on my count, right? So if you double click to highlight a term, like you might double click, you see how it stops right at the E. They said to me, something's broken in Visual Studio.
Broken. So this E really isn't an E. It's not an American ASCII.
That's right. It's a Cyrillic, I believe it's the Y character.
The Y character.
Yes. So if you do replace that with an ASCII E, lowercase e character,
which
and now you mouse away from that, you immediately see on line 17,
that all this stuff kind of doesn't work.
What's going on here? And you mouse over it.
Because it's not the same name. So I'd have to replace it here and replace it there. Right?
Yeah.
And so, why are we still getting squiggles here?
Go ahead and mouse over it. Because there's now 2 my counters on the page.
Because of the injected one.
Because of the injected one.
Right. So let's get rid of that. And, we told you not to rewrite things, but that was just because, that's taking the easy way out,
There were some folks that said, the easy way to fix this is to just rewrite the increment count. So it's just incrementing the counter.
Right.
No.
Yeah. So now everything should work.
You could either remove it from the imports file or you could comment out line 13.
Right. So that's it. And I got to say that extra week made all the difference because we got a plethora of responses and a handful, scientific terms here, a handful of correct responses, people that found the E. But we picked one at random and the winner is, drum roll please, Jimmy Engstrom.
There we go.
From somewhere near Stockholm, Sweden. We don't know we know his conference, Sweetug, is in Stockholm, but
yes,
not sure he lives in Stockholm. Somewhere around there, I'm sure.
Close enough. So congratulations, Jimmy. And for having his correct answer picked at random, he is going to win one of these. A Blazor Puzzle mug. Look at that.
Great for all those cold days out in Stockholm. And he's also going to learn. He's going to learn. No, he learned us, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
He's going to win one of these, a Blazor Puzzle T-shirt, which probably isn't going to help him on those cold mornings in Sweden.
No,
but he'll wear it proudly nonetheless. Jimmy, send us a picture of you yourself and you wearing your T-shirt and holding your mug, please.
All right.
So we have a new puzzle, so let's get to it.
And it's devious, too. All right. So, Carl, I've been doing more and more work with trying to localize and globalize my Blazor applications. I want to make sure that some of our friends that are outside of the United States get content formatted and presented to them in a way that makes sense for their eyes.
Right.
So I started following the instructions for localizing and globalizing from the Microsoft Learn website. And it's a really great set of examples and instructions there, including this little bit, this culture component that shows you how the number formatting works. But the key bit of this is you have to add the Microsoft Extensions localization package. And I want to localize a simple greeting. We always have that welcome to puzzle, whatever number, and I want to localize and place that right there in the H1 at the top of our homepage for this.
Okay.
So I added the references inside Program CS. So if we go over to Program CS and take a quick peek at that, you can see there on line 10, I added localization.
Yep.
And down a little bit further on line 22, I wanted to start simple and let me just get the American English translation working there.
Yes.
You can also see inside the project, I have a home.en-us.resx, a resource file.
Yes.
That has the content for us. The resource, there's actually a resource editor that looks really nice that puts it side by side for you.
Yeah, if you just double click it.
Yeah, that one.
I like the XML version, but there you go.
I've got greeting, welcome to Puzzle 57. And I want to make this appear before we start doing some other localization puzzles here on the podcast.
Okay.
So let's get the basic one working here. Let's make sure we all understand how to get the basics working here, right? American English, we're not going to deal with any language translations and selection yet. Let's do just this one. So everything's wired up just the way that it's described in the Learn documentation. Go ahead and run it, Carl, and let's see our greeting appear at the top of our website.
Yes, let's do that. Okay. Wait a minute.
It just says greeting.
Yeah, it says greeting.
The culture is being handled, and it's still showing me U.S. English, but it just says greeting.
Let's go look at that code again, shall we?
Yeah, go ahead.
So localize greeting, And then if you look at this greeting, that's data. Welcome to Puzzle 57.
There it is.
So why did that not work? That's the question.
That, dear viewer, is where we need your help. Why doesn't it work?
It should work. So this is right out of the documentation, right?
Right out of the documentation. We'll start throwing Spanish and German and French in there and some other of our favorite languages. But why isn't this one working?
All right. So this is a Blazor global server Blazor app.
Yep.
So shouldn't have a problem. This is probably as easy as it gets.
Right.
Okay. Obsess away. Well, if you think you know the answer, please don't post it on social media, but instead send it to Jeff and me at blazorpuzzle@appvnext.com with puzzle number 57 in the subject.
Yes.
And good luck and obsess away. And we'll see you next week.
Take care, friends.
Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out blazortrain.com and the .NETshow.com for more great content.